Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today's a little bit of a different video for me. I do not do a lot of colour by number videos anymore, but this one I had to make. So I'm going to start with the history lesson. Way back when I started colouring 5 years ago now, as before that I did not know adult colouring was a thing at all. It wasn't on my radar, whatever, TV, anything, internet, who knows, I didn't know about it. And then I discovered it and I fell through a very large wormhole of amazingness when I did, and I will always be grateful for finding colouring and the colouring journey that I've been on, the community I found, the channel I've created, and just the amazing fun and peace and certainty that colouring has brought to me. And when I started colouring, I did enjoy colour by number. I did quite a lot of colour by number. There's a lot of adult colour by number out there for people that are interested in the colour by number side of colouring. I know it gets a bit of a bad rap sometimes. Some people are quite derogatory about it, I'm afraid. You know, they kind of look down their nose on colour by number, almost like, you know, it's not as good as the normal colouring pages that other people create. I disagree with that. I believe everything is a hobby. It's all about what we want to do with ourselves, how we find peace and a little bit of serenity in what can be rather a crazy, busy life and lifestyle. And you know, I did it for some time, and in fairness, my colouring style did evolve away from colour by number. And one of the colour by number styles that I did enjoy was the Hachette Heroes. The Hachette Heroes are very popular, becoming ever more so in the adult, especially Disney colour by number community, with these books. And these books, they come like this, and they're a true puzzle colour by number. So let me sit that. So, you know, they're just a puzzle page. You can't tell what you're going to get. You get your key along the bottom. They can be quite tricky to match up. You can end up needing quite a few pages, quite a few colours for these things. And you know, I did a few pages back in the day. I did quite a few and I did enjoy them. And then I stopped. And I stopped more out of frustration than not loving the books. They have amazing paper in these. They're double-sided though, so I really advise against alcohol markers, just because you lose half your pages. It's such a shame, and there are better alternatives out there for these things nowadays, which was not always true of this phenomena, but we're going to get into all of that, don't you worry. So I started, as most do, the older Le Grand Classique books. When I first started, I had Le Grand Classique Tome 2 and 3. I had Chat and Felin, something like that, which is Cats and Kittens. And I also had Mickey, Donald and Co., which, in fairness, at the time was my absolute favourite of these, because it didn't matter as much, and I loved the black and white pages with the grey. I didn't bother adding colour into the background. I didn't see the need. And I did some of these and loved them. The older books tend to be the simpler books with the simpler colour palette, if they're the ones that you prefer, and they tend to be more likely to have the black outline. If that's the kind you prefer, which is kind of, I have done some of my black outline, so these I've already black outlined. These myself, they don't come like this, they come as the plain page, and I love to sit and draw these outlines in. You can do black outline first and then colour, or you can colour and then do black outline later. Everybody's a little bit different with these and just sticks to their own preferred colouring style. There are no rules and regulations. I like to put my black lines in, put my colour in, and then just touch up anywhere when I'm done that I look and think, oh, I've gone over that and it looks messy, just because I'm fussy and everything, and that's why I stopped these things in the first place. So this is turning into a longer story than I meant it to, but what can you do? Way back when, I haven't touched my Hachette Heroes books for maybe 2-3 years, probably 3 years if we're being really honest, maybe even a little bit more. So over 3 years they were sat. I decluttered the 4 books I had 5. I decluttered the 5 books I had forever ago. I had one of the circles books. I don't like those. They're the ones, they're a bit like Quirkles. So if you like that kind of thing, there's a few in that range now. They also do the little more like the patchwork circles in them. Really didn't like that one. I did give that book away to my niece like straight away. But the other 3 books, which was my Mickey Donald and Co, my 4 books should I say, my Le Grand Classique Tome 2 and 3, and the Cats and Kittens, which I'd never even worked in. I have a massive book pile in my dining room downstairs that I need to add onto eBay, and jobs get in the way and it doesn't get done. And a few weeks ago now, we are doing our kitchen, so we've been moving things around, sorting things. I've been slowly putting things on my eBay, so I've been selling games at the moment. I'm a big gamer. I have a big game collection of things that I didn't need, and I've been putting those on first. But I was staring at this tower, and I mean tower, human-sized tower of books, and these caught my eye. These 4 beautiful books sat near the top, and I peeled them out, and I sat and stared at them, and I flicked through, and I was trying to decide, you know, because I've coloured in them, you know, to give them away, because I'm not going to sell a book that I've coloured in, especially when I've coloured a few pages. There was just the one, the Cats and Kittens. I could sell that, no problem. It wasn't coloured in. But these, I needed to make a decision. And way back in the day, we used to use water-based markers. Most people used Crayola Super Tips. That was the thing to do. You got the big box of 50 or 100, and you did Crayola Super Tips. And to try and make your brain be happy with them, you did all the same way for the streaks. And the thing is, I love these pages. These are done like that. They've got the streaks in. They're all done the same way. They look a bit arty, and they've got their cool black outlines. And absolutely not a problem. Love the pages. They turn out so fab because they're so well designed, these books, and so well done, that it's just not an issue until you come across skin. Skin of any kind, matched up with streaks, with not the greatest colour range to use, and you can use the Ohuhu water-based markers as well. I just really struggled, and I know these don't look so bad, but I have actually, when I went back in, corrected these. I'll go into that in a moment. So the skin frustrated me so much that in the end I set these books aside and I didn't touch them again for years. And so I'm staring at them and I'm flicking through my pages, and I open this book and I'm looking at it. I'm thinking, God, I hate those. Even to give them away, I need to improve that a little bit. So I actually went over these with a bit of a paint marker, and it did go over okay, and they don't look fabulous, but this was my early trying experimental phase, and they look so much better than they did. She was a combination of orange and cream and brown before, whereas now she just looks a little bit less super crazy. You know, I'm much happy with them. And I'm sat and I'm staring, I'm thinking, I actually really enjoyed fixing those. So I did a couple more, and I did this one. I did this with some of the old pens. I'm going to go through pens with you as well in a bit, next chapter, bear with me. You know, and some turned out better than others, and the skin was better, the shades were better, I was much happier, but again, I could just see the lines through a lot. This colour bled through from the other page. I'll go through that as well. But like anything, bit of practice, working with your materials, learning what you can do. I did another one, and I did this one, and this yellow, not so much, but again, go through the issues with those. But I pulled out some different paint markers and I created this, and I really like her. I love how she came out. Not keen on the sand, but that can be fixed. It's not an issue. This was very enjoyable to do. This one I did the black outline after. This one I've done the black outline before. So as you can see, it really doesn't matter. It depends on how you prefer and how neat you are with things, and if you're bothered about then having to go back over it afterwards. So I sat and I did this, and I thought, I really like that, really enjoy that. You know, went back to my old Grand Classique book 2 where I'd left off, and I did this one. And don't get me wrong, again, had some issues learning trying different markers that I had, trying different colours that I had lying around, trying to work out what worked best. And I'd already done a load of black lines in this book, but then never continued. So then I did this one. Love this. Found more browns, found more colours, slowly started to realise I had more of the colours that I wanted to have. Finished off this page. I'd done the blue in this forever ago. Years and years ago, I had the idea that acrylic paint was going to work better than these than water-based, and I did actually do all this blue in actual acrylic paint, and I did that and it worked just fine, but I'm just too lazy to live that life. So it is an option for those of us that are very neat and talented and can be bothered, but I do struggle with the actual acrylic paint. And I kept going and I did this one and I loved it. Thought that was real fun, had some serious entertainment at this point, and at this point I'm starting to get the hang of it. I'm starting to get into this. The newer books, they have more colours as you go along. They've still got the black outlines that I really love, but I'm getting the hang of working with the paint markers, and you know, I'd bagged myself a couple more packs of things that worked a little bit better, and I did this. Love this. I think I then, you know, got some more black lines done because I find this just really relaxing. I sit and when I just can't be bothered to do anything in life, I will sit and I will do black outlines in these books until forever and be very happy. And I really enjoyed that. And then, you know, I'm sat and things happened. And you'll notice that some of these books are much newer. And the problem is I started to enjoy these books so much, I bought new books. I am going to do my Hachette Heroes colouring collection of books on a different video, mainly because I know for a fact people have bought me some off my wish list for my birthday, so I'm going to wait until after my birthday to do my collection because I know I'm going to have a handful more, so I might as well do a full video for you guys and I'll do them all then. So that aside, continuing on, I bought a handful more books, and out of those books, these are the new ones that I've coloured in. This is all just over the last couple of weeks because we know what I'm like. And by this point I'm completely hooked. I found that they had branched from their Disney and we're looking at Looney Tunes, and I'm like, oh my god. And this happened and I'm so impressed with my Bugs Bunny colour pick. It's unreal. So at this point I'd bought the second set of markers that I'm going to show you guys, a large set of acrylic paint pens. I'm sure you all are going to know what I'm on about. From Temu, the 240 Guangna acrylic paint pens. Ordered those things because that's what everyone's saying you should use. And they're brush tips, so didn't hold out a lot of hope for that. But then they came and wow. I really enjoyed. I think I've just done these two in this one. Really enjoyed doing these. Really enjoyed doing these. These are now at this point all in acrylic paint pen. So much fun. Then saw this book and oh my god, Hachette Heroes did not look like this when I was originally doing Hachette Heroes a few years ago. They were simpler styles, bigger portraits. I got Petite Poupée. If you guys can recommend some of these small ones that are this detailed, please let me know. I'm in love. These are amazing. These only have 40 pages in, but to be honest, this one page took me so long, I'm not sure that's going to be an issue. And would you look at that? How fabulous does that come out? How much work has gone into creating a colour board by number with that much detail? This is not for the faint of heart. This is not a beginner version of Hachette Heroes. And when I do my collection for you guys, I will go through beginner to advanced recommendations and the different types and like black outlines and all that jazz. But oh my word, that was exciting. Look at this colour palette. Just in case you do have this book and you want to do this page in something similar, I'm gonna put that there. You can pause the video, and if you have any of these pens, you will have, you know, a starting point for that. And I'm going to show you and explain to you all of these sets and what they are very soon. And I am currently working, and I normally always go in order with these books. I just start at page 1 in whatever book I'm in and I just work my way through, because they're mystery books and I don't check the answers are all in the back of these books. I don't check them to see which is which and what I should do. I just work my way through. The exception has been this one. I'm not gonna lie. These books are intense nowadays. This is a double page spread and I was very thrown off, rather intimidated. I'm not gonna lie, I caffled it. I chickened out and I started here. I'm gonna go back. I am now feeling more confident in myself, and although they take a while, they don't take a ridiculous amount of time, so I feel a little bit safer to go back to these. I am working on this page. This is the Smurfs book, volume 1. There's a volume 2, for goodness sake, so many of these books out. And again, if you guys are interested, out of my sets, that is my colour working key for this one. I never used to do this. I used to just match some colours, but in these books where there's quite a bit more, you know what I mean, I've been writing them down. A, for so I don't get myself confused. B, in case I don't get the whole page done because they take longer. And C, for you guys, of course. So that is that. That is the books. Like I say, actual book guide collection coming out next when they come. So from there, they have their Les Grands Classiques, which is like classic Disney films. I think they're on volume 12 or 13 now, one of those two. And they get progressively more complex and more details as they go along. Most of those books have the black outlines, but not all. They have the circles book, which if any of you know are like Quirkles, of course they're not my favourite, but they do have those. They have the optical illusions books. Again, I don't have those. I'm not particularly interested. They will have a picture you can see of like Cinderella, but the actual page turns out to be Maleficent. So it's just to throw you off. And I mean, I colour in acrylic paint pen, so they're gonna disappear, those lines anyway, so I don't really see the point. And there are so very many of the normal Hachette Heroes. I just don't feel the need to have collected those, but there were those as well. There's the small books like that Petite Poupée that I've shown you. There is the Vitro out now, which of course people know and love, and there is another triangles one that's quite like it, all made up of triangles. So there are many different kinds. There's even the Hachette Heroes that aren't colour by numbers at all, and I do have some of those as well. Again, a lot of the books will have black outlines, but not all. I use a fine liner. I really like and have used for a long time these are the V5 high tech point 0.5. These are waterproof because you've got to be a little bit careful, you don't want your pen moving around. I also have this set of calligraphy pens, and these are Guangna calligraphy pens. I'm pretty sure you can probably get these off Temu. I think mine came from Grab It. And these are like a 5 set of different size black calligraphy pens. These also work beautifully well and also don't smudge so far. Would not advise the zebra black pens. Use those, they do smudge, and that is this type here. They were not waterproof and moved around, so quickly stopped using that one. But those are what I use for my black lines. You could of course also use a black paint pen, or even a black gel pen. It's becoming quite popular now. So for acrylic paint pens, I've done a massive deep dive here. I've tried a lot of different things and I'm going to go through them with you. So, what I did want to say is the Pixar books tend to not have any black lines. So if that is a deal breaker for you, would not advise the Pixar version. So as far as acrylic paint pens go, I started out with these fancy paint pens in the big nib. Now I like nibbed paint pens because they're more opaque usually than brush pens, and whenever you do have an acrylic paint marker, you want the one that has a ball bearing in it, because you can remix the paint every time you use them, because acrylic paint separates, and once it separates it isn't any good. It's too watery and the pigment is separate, and you need to be able to remix the thing. Now these fancy paint pen oil based medium point markers, I got these ages ago off Amazon, super cheap. They're like a 20 pack I think. These bled through. These are the blue mark that you saw, so these were nice enough, but they did bleed through. Where's my list? I had extensive notes on things. They're a smaller colour range, and I didn't actually find these to be as opaque as I would hope for this kind of marker pen. So what I also had were these older versions of the Guangna double set dual-ended brush marker acrylic paint pens, and for a while we saw quite a lot of these. And again, these are the ones, they don't mix, they're just brush pens. They are not very opaque. This kind of paint pen with the brush that doesn't remix, you don't have to prime them like these. You have to constantly push your nibs down, shake them, reprime them all the time, and a lot of people find that frustrating, which you don't have to do with these. but they're just not opaque enough. And again, I was struggling. These have more colours, but they just didn't have enough. So quickly decided neither one of these two were the right paint pen sets for me. But they did in a pinch, and they helped me start out. That was those. So from there, a situation ensued. I had all of these already, so I did not go out and purposely rebuy billion things. These are things I have and I use for other purposes over time. So I'm a big fan of Posca paint pens. Yeah, massive fan, love them. But they're expensive. You shake these, they have the ball bearing. You do have to prime the nibs because they're proper nibs, they're not brushes. So they're really nice and opaque. These do not bleed through, worked really beautifully, but you can pull the page a little bit if you're not careful with nibbed pens. And again, they don't have a super extensive paint range, like colour range. So these work beautifully, and I am using these, but alone I would have struggled. I have all of 3 of the ARRTX paint pen range. I've got a green, a grey and a red. And these colours, they are beautiful, and they do have a ball bearing, and they are a nib, and you do get a really nice flow of paint with these. I didn't find these to be as opaque as, say, the tooli or the Posca, but these did work quite well. But these, they're quite expensive, but they do have a slightly bigger paint range, so that is nice. And also these ones are clear, which I really like that. I like to be able to see how much bleeding paint I've got left, but I do believe the newer version of these are not clear, so there's that. Then I had been sent a set of 36 ARRTX acrylic brush pens, and this is key. This is the new version of acrylic brush marker, paintbrush marker pen that has become kind of all the rage. It has this little bleed barrel here, and wait for it, get it going, there we go. There is a ball bearing in there. That is not the best version, I don't think. There we go, ball bearing in there. That one needs a real good shape. Now, you do have to shake them up with a ball bearing, but it means that they last better and they're more opaque than their non-ball bearing counterparts, which I like an acrylic paint pen. These, as long as you use them slowly on the page and you're not doing massive open areas, because I did find those streak a little bit, are actually beautiful. These are smooth, they're nice, they've got that thin brush tip end so you can get in all the little places. They're not as easy to use as a nib because they are flexible, so it's harder to be neater, but these were really good. And they do have a nice colour range, but again, it's not massive, it's not extensive, and these aren't super cheap, but they're cheaper than some, and I use these all the time. This set has probably one of the most beautiful reds I've ever seen, and I exclusively use that pen, and I'm not sure if I'm going to end up having to buy a whole new set when that runs out just for that pen, which would be very frustrating. I wonder if they do these open stock. I'm going to have a look because I want that red. Now, I also have the tooli acrylic paint pens, and these are fantastic. You can get them open stock. They have hundreds, and I mean hundreds of colours of these bad boys. You have to shake them. They have their ball bearing. You do have to prime them. They are a nib. So they're very opaque. They can peel the page, you know, you've got to be careful, don't put pressure on, you will rip the tooth of the page. So you have to be a little bit careful, but they are fantastic. I've been collecting these things for years and finally have a beautiful excuse to use them a whole lot. These are amazing, but they are ridiculously expensive. They come in packs of about 20 usually, 22 I think, but you can get like a pack of greens. So you can get 22 greens, a pack of yellows and browns. So if you want specific colour sets for your pages, you could just get those. But each pack of these can be like £30 in English pounds. Translate that into whatever it applies to for yourself. And they go up and down. So I have hundreds of these things. They're amazing. It costs me hundreds of pounds to collect them. I am going to use these like mad. I have been using these like mad. These are the ones I have used and opened and primed. So that is why they're out of my big collection and sat, because I pull from those first. Just because I, you know, lazy and I hate washing the nibs all the time. You do need to wash the nibs on these. You pull the nib out, you give it a wash, you dry it off, you put it back in. You do also get a few spare fresh nibs with these sets when it finally is absolutely knackered, which is amazing. The other thing I found, again, gel pens. I know, who thought? But especially for some of the coloured lines, I find these work really well. I have the Sakura Jelly Roll Moonlight, and these are just opaque, flat gel pen colours. They're beautiful, they're smooth, they're nice nibs, they're expensive as hell. And again, they do not have, you know, a phenomenal paint range amount, but I had them in my collection. I've added them to this stack of creating colours because I don't mind mixing and matching everything on my page. It's not an issue, and I suggest you guys use whatever you have in your craft room to hand as well. You'd be surprised what you can dig up. I didn't think I had all these things to dig up out of my kit either, and yet found a billion different things. These are much nicer than the other ARRTX brush pens that don't have the ball bearing. You know, the older style that are just a pen brush. These are much better. These are actually beautiful pens, but again, they're not super cheap, and I was just struggling with some of the newer books that are more detailed to have enough. So I started wandering and looking and researching. Oh, by the way, there you go. That is the ARRTX swatch chart. So you can see it is unlimited. Colour palette, 36p. They may have bigger sets, I don't know. So anyway, in my wandering and searching and things that happened, yes I did. But hear me out, bear with me. This is the 240 count Guangna acrylic brush markers. These will look rather familiar. They've got a colour number, which keeps me super happy. Got to be done. They've got this bleed barrel, little marker for your paint levels, and they are a brush. They're a nice brush as well. And are you ready for this? They have a ball bearing in them. Yes they do. These sets have taken the world a little bit by storm, I think, in the colouring market of colour by numbers. People are loving these. These are beautiful. I was anxiously hopeful that these were going to be as nice as people made out like they were going to be. and absolutely truly amazed. These go up and down in price. You need to find the cheapest seller you can. On Temu, it's a bit like Amazon. You can find a billion of these. They're all different prices. And you can get smaller sets. They do different sets. They do sets that come in a case, sets that come in a bag, sets that come in plastic boxes. This is literally just a cardboard box, the cardboard box it came in with, but you can see it does have these like divider pockets, and I literally have this lid on its side on my desk and just work straight from it and haven't had to buy anything else, and I just love it. I have done the crazy thing and swatched them. I just use the card that you get with them. Look at this beautifulness. Love this, it's amazing. Not as keen on the fluorescence, but you never know. They do actually, they came out quite well. These are beautifully opaque. They work really well. The paint flows really nicely. The brushes work amazing, and I cannot believe the price I got these for. I paid like £35 for these. What? I mean, they tend to go for about 50. I think I was just lucky, and that every so often you just do grab a bargain. But 50 quid even, that's phenomenal. This is about 1.5 packs. The price of 1.5 packs of tooli art paint pens. And what I really like about this in the bigger set is the darker colours that are so hard to get in any other sets. Not sure my camera's doing them justice. They are like much more vibrantly colourful in person. You can tell that they're blue and brown and red. It struggles for the red tones a little bit, but it does a phenomenal job. It's even got really pretty warm greys. There's some very pale pastel tones in this 240 set. I am so pleased, so happy. I've used them a bunch already. Cannot recommend enough. Absolutely was job done. And then I was watching YouTube and I've learned about the Languor gel pens that are supposed to be really similar to acrylic. Now, they have not arrived yet. I don't have them yet, haven't tried them yet, don't know anything about them yet. I will do a separate video on them because I have gone absolutely crazy and bought, I'm pretty sure, every pack, every colour pack that they do, which is a lot. I did not buy their special effects like metallic or glitter or souffle ones because I don't need those. I have plenty of amazingly beautiful glitter gel pens. I have souffle pens that are from the original Sakura that you can't really beat, and I have metallic paint pens that gel pens, and I don't really use them. So I've just gone with all of the normal colours, and I will show you those. I'm very excited. I've seen and heard beautiful things about those. People are absolutely raving about those for the colour by numbers. But I think I have enough for quite some time. So I hope you have found this little bit of a how-to and guide on the Hachette Heroes, you know, the new updated versions of what you can do with them. Don't get me wrong, if you just like the effect of the water-based Crayola tip markers, just do you. It's really personal preference. There are no rules. Everything looks beautiful in the end if you think it does. That's the main thing to remember. Apart from that, guys, any questions, pop them in the comments down below. Hope you've liked this kind of little bit of something different. It's been very intriguing for me yeah, just lately to be messing around and finding something that I used to enjoy so much more enjoyable again. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.